Welcome to Ontopicretro. I'm John Cummins. Joining me tonight is Philip Paulson. And tonight we're talking Donkey Kong, or Mario vs. Donkey Kong Miniland Mayhem. So how are you doing tonight, Philip?
I'm doing pretty good. I have much to talk about. My only sadness is that I appear to be the only person that wants to talk about it except for you. But
Yeah, I was really hoping with all the chatter early on with everybody excited to play it that I would have had more of a turnout, but slowly but surely I think everyone kind of dropped off unexpectedly.
eh,
Um, even I gave away a copy of this game too,
I forgot
hoping
about
that we
that.
would get some more involvement. Yeah,
Who'd you give
and
it to?
you weren't the one that won it. I think I gave it to Preston in the community. I think Presto the Magnificent, I think, won.
And he didn't even
Um,
come. Can't believe it.
oh, I think he was going to. He probably forgot about it. He had mentioned
I
something
know.
about it in Discord at some point.
He mentioned that he only got to attraction 2, I believe. Uh, I think that's what he mentioned. Or that might be someone
Yeah.
else.
Well, and I also don't know how long he had the game for because when I send it out, I think the month had already started. So
Right.
I'll give him a little leeway on that.
And
But
for the reason I actually entered the contest, was despite having the game as a child, is that my copy doesn't work. It won't work in the DS. I had to buy a separate cartridge, which I slotted into my own case, but I had to buy a separate cartridge because my old one, something happened to it, and I tried fixing it, but I think something rotted on the connection. So
yeah, DS games are kind of tough. They're hard to get open and mess with. And then you can only do limited cleanup on the actual contacts on the that are exposed.
yeah, none of my
So I
other
can see that.
it blindsided me though, because none of my other DS games have broken down, and I tested them all after learning that it doesn't work. Hmm.
Yeah, I've bought a couple that I've had to work on in order to get them to work, but
I
they
do,
are getting some age on them.
I do hope there is a way to fix the cart. I gave up on it, but I do hope that eventually I fix it because it has my childhood save data on it, and I'm very curious to see how far I got. I actually don't know how far I got as
Yeah,
a kid.
nice. Well, at any point, if you give up working on it, you can send it my way, and I can try to see what I can do for it.
I already gave up on it, so I might just do that immediately after
Yeah.
recording this.
Well, and I mean that kind of segues us into the next part. I mean, if you can go ahead and talk about your childhood experience and your current experience, I know you 100% of the game for this, so you should have
Yeah.
lots to talk about.
I have a lot to talk about. I was thinking some of it would happen during the gameplay section. I made a few edits to the document. So I'll probably talk about. Here's the deal. I'll talk about my childhood experiences now, and I will probably try and delve into the game, into what I experienced this time when explaining how the game works. Uh,
That sounds good to me.
so as a kid, I definitely got through the game. I beat it once. I have memories of like the final level, like the final Ferris wheel. Uh,
Yep.
so I know that happened. I also did quite enjoy it. I remember thinking very highly of it. Uh, and I always was somewhat confused because I've seen in recent years a lot of people really pine after the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong and its style of gameplay. And I was always confused because I'd always, at the very least, looked back fondly, even if I couldn't remember a ton of specifics. I always looked back fondly on this game. I have some particular memories about Attraction 6, and I found them kind of difficult on this playthrough too, so I'm presuming that I just have trouble with that level, and its main gimmick being the bloody spark things that just try to kill you.
Yep.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
and so I have some memories of that. but overall, a lot of it's very fuzzy. Uh, this is pretty old. I was 7 when the game came out. Uh, so a lot of it's uh, quite old memories. I even though I had beaten the game, I didn't remember plus mode existed until it happened. And yeah, but I absolutely did. I absolutely messed. I do remember a little bit the online, which is good because we can't do that anymore. So there's going to be nothing about the online in the experiences. But I don't remember. I remember making a level, and I actually recreated that level because the level editor still works. So I recreated that level. I'll talk about that later. Uh, or I recreated it as best as I could from memory. I have footage of me beating it that I took with my iPhone, but it was too big to put on Discord. So no, you're just gonna have to trust me. I beat it. It wouldn't
Uh,
go complete on the. I took a picture of it. I took a small video of it after completion, and trust me, it would not say complete if I hadn't play tested it and beaten it myself. Uh, but I
the
recreated.
the the editor was pretty crazy. Like I think you could have up to like 160 levels on there per cartridge or something like that.
Yeah, there were a few levels on the cartridge I bought. They weren't any good, so shade on the person who previously owned this. Uh, they were kind of garbage, and most two of them were incomplete, and one of them was a straight line. But like you go on one pipe, and it wasn't hard. But beyond that,
Uh,
no, I remember playing. I don't remember many details, but I played some online levels, and I want to talk about that because that's an experience that's literally lost. But all I can remember is I think that was where I encountered Auto Mario levels before I got Mario Maker.
yeah, I mean this technically this whole game is Auto Mario. You just have to manipulate the level to make it work.
Yeah, which kind of makes the idea of making Auto Mario levels kind of stupid, but. But they were
Yeah,
easy. They were possible because you can start them on conveyor belts and they'll automatically start. Uh, I don't remember much. Like I definitely browsed around and played a few levels. There was also I read in the manual there's a setting where like they had like level contests that they called challenge mode. I don't remember if I did anything for that. I also don't remember if I uploaded my level. Like I think I tried to, but it says there were but it says in the manual that levels are hand moderated. So I have no idea if it went through. So if you
yeah,
suffered on a level that used a lot of spring as a child, that was me. Uh,
yeah. The what was I gonna say? I wonder if there is a community out there that still does online. Like
I
there are
looked.
some dead online stuff for like the Wii that people have redone. Uh,
I
I know
couldn't
that I was
find.
talking to Seth, $2 Hero, and they have a community that still does Mario Kart Wii uh,
Yeah.
racing online.
I knew about that, and I did look. So I looked for one. I couldn't find any, and I don't think it exists. Just because it's more of a niche
Yeah,
thing. But local,
it could be.
you can still transfer levels over download play. So, like, if we were to meet in person, you could download my level off of it. You wouldn't want to. You wouldn't want
Well,
to,
that's
but
that's what we'll have to do one day. Everybody from the Discord will have to meet up and we'll have to download each other's Mario vs. DK levels to play.
perfect meetup. And annoying again, you can download levels. If I'm, it's another reason I'm disappointed that my cartridge isn't accessible because I probably downloaded some of those levels. I probably have user based levels downloaded and now unaccessible because one of there's like you can like see it. There's like a little like blemish on the context, and I'm not sure if it's fixable, but it's very annoying. Whenever you put in the DS, it just says save data cannot load. Turn off the DSi and try again. And I'm very because like I would love to not only see the original version of the level I created, but also see legitimately downloaded levels. Because
Yeah,
because all I have now are
it's
fuzzy
definitely something
memories.
that's lost.
Yeah, I think there is this genuine sadness of of how much is lost when these systems go down, and you could argue there's not a lot of worth in the mass amount of user created levels, but I find it very sad, a bit of a minor tragedy.
Yeah, and I mean we'll talk about it a little bit later, but also talked about this earlier before we started recording. But this game only got to see about 4 years of online play before they shut it down completely.
Yeah.
Which, compared to some online communities today, that's not a whole lot of time.
That also means, because it shut down in 2014, that I had to be at max. I could be 11 years old, and they have to be at least that old or older because
Yeah,
it shut down before then.
exactly. Yeah, the that was 8 years ago when they shut it down, so it's quite a bit of time there even.
Yeah.
But as far as my experiences go, I did play through this game when it originally released. I don't have a whole lot of memory from playing it. I just know that I enjoyed it. Um, so I started back a new playthrough. Didn't quite make it all the way through the game. I probably made it about halfway through the standard levels.
Oh,
So not quite as far as I wanted to, but I definitely looked back and kind of used the internet as a guide to look at the rest of it before talking about it and kind of refresh my memory. And I definitely, I think I actually enjoy these a little bit better than the original Mario vs.
well,
Donkey Kong on Game Boy Advance, which is kind of weird because, as we kind of mentioned earlier, a lot of people have the opposite opinion. And um, definitely replaying it, I enjoyed it. I made sure that I 100%ed each level before I moved on in what I did play. Which, as we get into talking about the gameplay some more, you realize that some of the DK boss fights are just stupid unfair when it comes to trying to get all of the metal and the um what is it, the ribbon or whatever,
card.
or what is it?
Card. I think
Well,
it's
it's not
card.
the card. It's
The
there's a
trophy.
medallion and then there's trophy. Yes,
The card. So you can't get the trophy in the level. The trophy is like the perfect bonus for getting everything. We'll go into the scoring
yes. Well,
system
that's what I'm.
later.
Yeah, we can do that. But what I'm saying is that some of those DK boss fights are just brutal because if you lose one mini, you have to start over again.
Mhm.
But anyway, yeah, that's my experience. It wasn't as detailed and definitely a lot more fuzzy than yours. Um,
I mean,
but I definitely had a lot of fun with what I did play.
yeah. And I will say, even if I had played like one attraction, I would probably have several paragraphs to say about it. I could draw anything out unnecessarily.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know, and that's why I love having you on because you bring a lot of detail to it, and I don't have to remember as much right off the bat. You kind of help me remember it as we go. Um, so with experiences out of the way, we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about the general game discussion. We'll start with the development of the game. Miniland Mayhem was developed by Nintendo Software Technology (NST). It was released on the 14th of November 2010 for the Nintendo DS. Yukimi Shimura directed it, and Kensuke Tanabe produced the game, and Lawrence Schledler composed it. I'm horrible with names, so I probably butchered it, all three of those. But those are the people. Definitely, uh, Tanabe is a big name in Nintendo at this time. Produced a lot of things, so this game definitely gets that uh, Nintendo pedigree for sure. It wasn't like something handed off and farmed out. definitely some good work done here, and the music is awesome in this game.
Oh, there's a
I
lot of
definitely like the little carnival type music that they produced for it.
yeah. I will say, uh, well, I definitely want to get more on the music later because there's some interesting things I note. But I've been looking through. I looked up Nintendo software technology, and interestingly, it appears to be almost like a it's a first party part of the Nintendo
It
corporation
is.
that makes a bunch of them. But it appears to like it didn't it made Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, but not like Odyssey, which is very interesting. Looking on their Wikipedia page.
Yeah, it's not like a Nintendo uh like R&D one. Like it's not a main it's not doing the big mainline titles. You definitely see some credits here and there where they've assisted in some things. Um in some of the larger titles, but they definitely do get like some of the smaller stuff given to them, but
It's not
nonetheless they
outsourced.
still make great games.
Yeah, and it's not
Huh?
outsourced. It's still in the company. It's still part
It's
of
still in
Nintendo.
the company, yes. Yep. But yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of craziness with this development. It was pretty straightforward. They just kind of knocked it out and made a great game. So we're gonna leave that there, and we'll move on to the story. I'll ask you like last time if you want to read this, you can. I'll let you read it.
Uh, sure. I'll read the story. Miniland is having its grand opening, and the first 100 customers get a free Mini Pauline. Donkey Kong cuts in line to get one, only to find that he was the 101st customer. Angered, Donkey Kong kidnaps the real Pauline, and Mario uses the minis to follow him through a number of attractions. He eventually defeats Donkey Kong at the final Ferris wheel, but Donkey Kong kidnaps Pauline again. Mario follows him through the Plus attractions, which are a lot like the normal attractions, but slightly different, and
Plus,
defeats him at the final Ferris wheel yet again. But then makes up for Donkey Kong's remorse by bending the rules and giving him a mini Pauline after all. Mario, Pauline, and Donkey Kong then ride the Ferris wheel as the Toads celebrate the end of the conflict between Mario and Donkey Kong, and the credits roll.
it's definitely a more tame version of Donkey Kong from the past.
Yes. And it
With
teaches a
this,
valuable lesson. Even, like, if you want a toy, just just kidnap someone and force people.
you'll get the toy you want,
Yeah, you'll go through lengthy hostage negotiations, and at the end, they'll just give you the toy.
but you just have to keep running with your hostage
Yes.
through all the attractions, and then you'll get your toy. Eventually, Mario will give up.
Does this mean that they're like you say like through the Plus attractions, which I kind of assumed that like they just ran around in a circle and did it all again. But this also kind of implies that there's like two identical theme parks like right next to
You have them side by side, slightly different theme parks.
it.
Uh, one's a little bit more difficult theme park,
Very slightly.
very slightly. Yeah. No, yeah. I didn't play the any of the plus stuff this time, but I don't remember there being a too much of a difficulty spike
Do
between
you
all of
actually
them.
know the difference?
Of the level design or the difficulty? Do you get less time?
No, Plus mode and can I talk about the two modes right now? Like, is this a segue?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Yeah, we can move into gameplay. That's fine.
difference between plus mode and normal mode is that in plus mode, you have to get the mini Marios. In plus mode, instead of just the one mini Mario, there's like the 5 types: the regular mini Mario, the Toad mini Mario, the Peach mini Mario, the
Oh
Donkey
yeah.
Mario Pauline, and you have to get them in order.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about all the different uh, kinds because I think in my last playthrough that I was doing, I only made it to where there's a uh, was it a mini peach and a mini toad?
Right, those are the first
I for
2,
Yeah, I forgot about the mini Donkey Kong
and the mini Pauline.
and the mini Pauline. Yeah,
Yeah, so um, it's a fun like the thing about the order thing is that it's hit or miss, right? Like sometimes it's like it's pretty mind bending to try and like rearrange the minis in the right order. It reminds me of an episode of Curious George that I watched, where this is very relevant. I've been waiting to talk about this for a month. So this is an episode of Curious George where like he has to like redirect trains and get them in the right order. Uh, and I've always wanted to play a game that was based off of that episode of Curious George, and it's not exactly the same. I still have to keep looking for the exact match, but this kind of stated that a little bit, not really, a little. No,
so
you could cut that out.
what's funny is the whole time, that Donkey Kong is wanting a mini Pauline, Mario's using them in the levels later.
Yeah, they show up a bunch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he could just steal one of the mini Paulines that are chasing after him, and he would have one.
Yeah,
He wouldn't have to be so angry about it.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going on with that. Also, like he could buy one, right? They seem to be
I don't
for
know if
sale,
Donkey Kong has money.
I guess, but there are coins just scattered throughout the attraction. It can't be that hard.
Yeah. Well, he only knows his currency is bananas, so he doesn't
He
do
just starts
coins.
selling bananas.
Sell bananas to get coins.
The
Yeah.
sequel: Donkey Kong opens a banana store to raise
Yeah.
money for his toy collection. That'd be great.
That would be Dan. Um, but yeah, so since we moved to gameplay, we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about the just the main stuff. So it's a 2D puzzle platformer, as if you haven't guessed, just by listening to us talk a little bit about it. There's 8 worlds themed around carnival attractions, 8 levels in each world. Then there's the final boss, and then there's the 2 other modes, Rainbow Summit and Secret Warehouse.
Not really modes. They're kind of just like extra worlds. Think of them like World 9
Yeah.
a lot of the Mario games.
Oh yeah.
It's
And basically uh, the whole point of this game, gameplay wise, is that you can't control any of the mini Marios. The only thing you can do is manipulate the world around them to get them to a destination. And there's all kinds of different variants of it. Sometimes there's one mini Mario will have a key and he has to be in the front, so you have to rearrange their order a little bit, which is the more simpler task than what we were talking about earlier, where you have 5 different mini toys that you have to put into a particular order to finish the level.
Well, allow me to elaborate on that. Every 4th level it's ordered. Like every 4th level in an attraction is one where you have multiple minis, and they're in different capsules, and they have different doors. So you have to get each mini to each door, but the time limit, because normally when you get into a door, there's a time limit where you have to get them all in right next to each other within a certain time limit, or it doesn't count, is removed. So you can get them to the doors, and in the main game, you can get them in any order into their separate doors, but they have to go to separate doors. That is changed in Plus mode, where the level is the same. the doors are in the same place, but now you have to get them to their doors in the order that they're in.
Yeah, they're numbered.
Yeah, but only in plus mode. And then the key level is that is every 8th one, and the key level is always the level right before the Donkey Kong level.
Yeah, you're unlocking the door to go to the boss, essentially.
Yeah, it's strictly ordered in this fashion though, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, yeah, I did notice that each world the levels were ordered in particular, where you would see them show up in that same order every time.
They're like colored different on the map, I think. Like I believe one's yellow and one's red.
Yep, this is true. And then you have a boss fight in each world, and then there's also uh, like a bonus level. Is that what it's?
It's called the mini game.
Or yeah,
Uh,
mini game level.
the
The mini games are actually pretty fun too.
Yeah, I quite like the mini games. They're not that difficult. Like I didn't have too much trouble with them, but they're kind of fun and they have a lot of real time actiony element to them.
Yeah, they're definitely moving a lot faster than the normal game because the minis are coming through faster.
Yeah, I guess we should explain what happens in them. Basically, the minis come down from pipes on like the top half of the screen, and you have to direct them into specific boxes. And they alternate in type. Like in the first level, you just have to deliver them to boxes that have like different multipliers on them. So there's a times 4 box, there's a times 1 box, there's a times 2 box, and there's like a times -1 box that you want to avoid. And then in and then it'll alternate between those types and ones where you have to get each mini type to a specific box. And as you go through the attractions, they add more types of minis that are worth more points if they get either into a multiplier box or a box that has their face on it.
Yeah,
And the plus mode edition, in plus mode, each minigame removes a box, and underneath the boxes is a spike. So
yeah, and it ends the level if you hit those.
yeah, so it adds that, and there's an extra bad thing that could happen. And basically, you have like a time limit, and minis will come down in waves, and after each wave, the boxes will shuffle, and they'll come down, and occasionally timers will appear on the screen, and you just have to get as many points as possible. And there are 3-point thresholds, each worth 1 M coin.
Yep. Which, again, we can also talk a little bit about the uh, obstacles in the world and the tools that you get to navigate them.
Yeah.
Like the conveyor belts and the girders that you can use.
It's kind of a resource management kind of game.
It is,
Like,
yeah, because you could run out.
I kind of, but like the idea is, as you go along, you pick up girders and things
Yep.
and various other things. You'll get springs you can move, and that uh, you'll have to move them around. And it's what basically mean why you can't just. There's like a real time element to it. You can't just set them. You can't just set everything up and set the minis off to go, because you don't have enough resources to do that. So you have to like be deleting bridges and making new bridges as the minis cross them.
Well, and you can only make a bridge between two certain points, and then in some cases, like with some of the DK boss levels, he'll destroy some of the points at which you can make a bridge using the girders. So he'll eliminate a path for you to take. So you have to figure out an alternate route.
He'll also throw down enemies
kind of,
that
yeah,
hurt minis.
yeah.
I
The
don't.
springs are interesting. Also figuring out that if you enter a pipe moving in one direction, you'll exit the pipe and move that same direction.
That is very
So
important
that,
to learn.
yes, like I remember getting to the first level that has a pipe, and I couldn't figure it out for a minute. I was like, I finally, it just dawned on me, like I was watching him, he entered walking from that one direction, and then he continued to walk in that direction
Of
because I
course,
needed him to go the other direction.
Yes, but this only works if the pipes are oriented up and down. Because if they're orientated left
Correct.
or right, they'll just go that direction, and this can be a useful way to turn them around and like swip
It
them
can
around.
be, yes. Yeah, if
And
they're up or down, you have to watch which way they're coming from, and because they'll continue to go that direction when they come out the other side.
then World 5, they introduced the ladders, and then like you have to. Oh, oftentimes you'll be like, "Oh, I'm going towards it," and then you forget there's a ladder, and like if it hits a ladder, like some of the ladders are movable, but some of them aren't, and if it hits a ladder, it
Yep,
will climb up the ladder, so you have to like keep.
climb it up,
Yeah,
keep doing it until you avoid the ladder.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's definitely gets crazy, like making sure that you have enough girders to pull something off. Uh, like you might have to have say like a spike pit covered, and then you have to figure out how to create another bridge. So maybe you have to sometimes it gets real close to where you're destroying a bridge that's uh, right behind the last mini in order to create the bridge in front of the first mini. So I mean, it gets pretty hectic sometimes.
there's usually a way to like do it a bit. Like they usually give you a bit of leeway on it, but it especially gets very hectic. It kind of like gets it kind of waits until like the extra worlds to get super hectic. I never really felt like there was definitely some frustrating levels, but they were pretty much exclusively housed in special and expert, which is the Rainbow Summit and the Secret Warehouse. Uh,
Yeah.
and 8-8. 8-8 was completely. I don't know if I'm doing 8-8 yet right still. Like, I might have just found an exploit for how to get the hammer into the wall. That might be unintentional. I don't know if I'm doing that level right because it feels like a kind of jank solution what I did. Like, I manipulated a slope so like it hits the slope and then it's really hard to explain how it works. But you could get the hammer power up, which allows you to break down walls. And so the minis
Hmm.
would go, and I had to have the minis like there's no obvious way to get the hammer to the wall before the time runs out on the power up. So what I did was I had them walk because they're working to the left. I made a slope. When it touches the slope, the mini drops the hammer and they fling up in the air and come back down. So then I had to make sure there was another mini to catch them and push the mini to go the
Catch
right
it. Yeah.
way and then go into the thing. And I have like this feels harder than any of the other levels, and it feels like a jank solution. So I'm not even sure if I'm doing it right. That's the only way I could figure out how to beat 8-8 with all the stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the deal. It's the levels aren't always necessarily difficult, but if you're trying to get the trophy, time is a big factor. So you're trying to figure out how to solve these levels with collecting everything that's in them and in a certain amount of time. So I mean, yeah, you get like 300 seconds normally, so you could you could use that whole time to complete the level if you want to, but you're not going to get the trophy if you do
Yeah.
that.
I've never run out of 300 seconds, but I've definitely had to retry a level and do it tighter. Like just do
Yeah.
everything a little bit tighter.
Oh yeah.
I haven't. Uh, it usually has some leniency. Like you don't have to do it perfectly, but you have to do it tight enough. You can't just waddle around everywhere. There has to be
Yeah,
some
exactly.
cohesion to it. Yeah.
But it all feels really good though, like with the manipulation of the parts and pieces of each level. There's some levels that you'll beat, like you'll get this solution, and then you're like, wait a minute, I'm still missing like 5 seconds to get the trophy, and you'll realize one little thing you miss, shave off that 5 seconds, and there's something really rewarding about that. And
Yeah.
like learning that you can change the direction of a Mario in the boss levels by creating like two diagonal conveyors that are opposite of each other and then delete one and make them go
Uh,
the other
a
direction.
bunch of the conveyor things we have to make conveyors going the wrong way with the knowledge you'll press the button and they'll go the right way by the time you want to use them.
Ex- exactly. Because yeah,
And
every time he hits a switch, he'll change the direction of your conveyors on you.
yeah, there's
Which
a
I
bunch.
guess we could talk a little bit about the boss battles if we want to.
Ooh, the boss battles. Uh, you haven't seen all the boss battles. I mean, you've seen them all, but you haven't experienced them. You didn't? Did you get to the Spark boss battle?
Uh, no, like I said, I think I only got to level 4 boss battle
Yeah.
or
So
world 4.
there's in in Attraction 6, there's a mechanic where you can walk on walls, and there are also sparks that walk on walls too. And I hate this
Yeah,
mechanic. It has killed me so many times. It stresses me out more than like the final level like does. The sparks stress me out. Uh, they're stressful, and thus in the DK battle, you don't have any girders. You don't have any invariables. You only have those little platforms that switch which side your Mario is on. A few of the brown
oh
blocker
yeah,
pack panels and sparks. And like it wasn't that hard to do, but it was nerve wracking.
yeah. And as I mentioned earlier, the thing that gets me the most about the DK boss fights is if you lose a mini Mario, they don't consider it a 100% complete,
Yes. I should
which
point out how
is
scoring works exactly. So in most levels, actually, do you mind? I'll talk about scoring later because scoring means I have to talk about collectibles, and the collectible system is kind of complicated. So
yeah. We could finish talking about the boss battles and then we can move on to the
yeah.
collectibles and the scoring system.
So I'll go out of the scoring. But in short, you can't get a perfect score if a mini dies. So that means you have to start over, including the final boss where you're shooting the minis out of a cannon.
Exactly, and it gets frustrating because I don't know how many times I started. I think the level 4 boss, um, just because you won't be paying attention and a mini, you'll be worried about something at the top of the level trying to uh, hit one of the switches to damage DK, and one of the other minis at the bottom will get released, and you're not paying attention, and he'll walk into a spike pit or something, or walk into it. You have an enemy fall from the sky and land on his head or something,
You
and
know,
you have to start all over again.
he'll make a sound. He makes a little like the little start up.
Yeah, he does.
I wouldn't peak the mic for
But
that. Uh,
yeah,
yeah, no, the yeah, I quite like the DK levels. Like I know they can be very tricky, but I figured out how to manage them. Usually, there's a way to like. I usually have like at least one safety precaution at the bottom to make sure that the minis don't immediately die. But I don't know. There's an element of frustration to them, but like I really do like the real time value, and I think it does a really good job of feeling like a tenser situation and one where there's definitely some things that can and do go wrong, but it's definitely not like each one makes sure to use the gimmicks of the old of the level that you've been on, and like and it factors in everything you know and everything you know about resource management, but puts it in a more stressful situation.
exactly.
Except for the final boss, which has nothing to do with any of that and has a cannon.
Yep.
Like,
You shoot all your minis out of a cannon, hope they don't hit something they don't need to hit.
yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about the final boss, like the final Ferris wheel. I love how it's like foreshadowed, like Super Sky Wheel happens, and like you have that boss, and then you're on the next one. You're actually on the sky wall. That's in the like the Ferris wheel is in the background of the entirety of the final
Yeah,
attraction. So I
and you
like
could see it.
yeah, I like how it's foreshadowed, and the boss is fun enough. Uh, you have to dodge things, and you actually have to, as well as aiming the cannon, missiles will fire down at the cannon, and you have to like move the barrel of the cannon to dodge before you even fire them. Uh, and it's a fun enough fight. If it can be a bit frustrating at times, but it feels very divorced from the rest of the game, and it takes up an entire like slot on the world map screen, which made me feel a lot more like I was very hyped to find out what all 3 slots were, and to know that one of them was just the final boss is kind of
Yep.
disappointing, because you could see how many worlds there and you could see the slots, and some of them are grayed out, and you're like, what is there? What's there? And the answer was, I mean, there's the special and extra levels, which expert levels, which are nice, but I don't know. I like the final boss thematically, but and it's fun enough to play, but I don't really like how it doesn't really build off of anything mechanically.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't tie into how the rest of the game worked,
Where,
teaching you and then expecting you to perform.
yeah, whereas everything from the mini games to the Donkey Kong fights, to even plus mode additions feel like natural progressions based off of previous things you get, and and even stuff in the special and expert level gimmicks. I'm not sure if the expert levels have any gimmicks, but the special levels have the gimmick where all of the minis start at once instead of you choosing to activate them, and even that feels like a natural
Yeah.
progression. Uh,
Yeah.
I will say I also don't like, besides Donkey Kong appearing more not progressive, appearing more aggressive. I don't really know if there's that much of a difference between the plus mode fights and the normal mode fights. I mean, I think DK's more aggressive, but that's hard to measure.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you could get a timer out and see if he's changing the directions of your conveyors and stuff faster, maybe,
Yeah,
or
I,
throwing more enemies.
yeah. I think it does attacks faster and more often, but it's hard precisely. Like, I could tell you, like, even like I think also in some of the other levels it gives you less resources, but it's hard to tell. But at least
Yeah.
for the other 2 level types, I had like a main thing that I knew plus mode did. I'm not quite sure what plus mode does with the, like, I have some suspicions, but like I don't have like that main detail I can point to, which I suppose I should finish up talking about plus mode. I kind of don't like plus mode in that I do real. The thing is, the only major change, the change in the mini games, like getting the mini game in the -1 box versus getting the mini game in the spikes that ends it. That's very definitely a more severe consequence, but it's not that much of a severity. And
Yeah, 'cause you can just restart.
yeah, and but the main thing about plus mode is that like you have to get the minis in an order, and the big problem with that is that this is a very hit or miss change. In some levels, I feel like this changes drastically. Like, I had quite a bit of fun, and even a bit of like quite a bit of fun trying to finagle the minis into the right order. And on some levels, they just went into the right order, like naturally. Like, my previous
Naturally, yeah.
solution turned out like whatever they thought was scrambling up the order didn't actually scramble it. Like I already had the solution. And the vibe I get from plus mode is a vibe I get a lot from some of the difficulty modes I encounter in this game, is that it could have been either a difficulty mode available from the start, or B, the default. I do not feel like I needed to play the game twice just to experience plus mode and normal mode separately. Like,
Yeah.
when I said I dislike plus mode, that's probably misleading. I think it'd be more accurate to say I would prefer to just play plus mode. I
Yeah.
would,
Plus mode should have been the normal mode.
yeah. They did not need to split this up. There was not that big of a difference between them. And playing through the game twice just feels repetitive. I like the addition that it has, and uh, but if if the like, then it doesn't matter, right? If the order is only sometimes an issue. If having the order is just a normal element instead of an added element, there's not that pressure for it to be something that adds challenge in every level. Although it's just an aspect. And
Yeah.
so I feel like that aspect would have worked better if I wasn't constantly being like, "Oh, nothing happened. How disappointing." because it
Yeah.
is a good element. I like that element. It just doesn't feel like it needs its own mode.
Yeah. Or it could have been something that was just gradually put into the normal game with different
Yeah,
attractions.
yeah, that is true. Or I think it would have been fine if like it was like a difficulty mode where you could choose it from the start. You didn't have to
Yeah.
unlock plot mode. Then it's like, oh yeah, I'll just play on expert
They
mode.
wanted to yeah, they wanted to make sure you were ready for it.
I was ready for it. I was always
Yeah.
ready. Like there are tricky
Well,
moments in this game, but plus mode doesn't add anything that spectacularly
you
trickier.
know. So I was gonna say, if you want to, you can break down the power ups and the scoring now if you want to.
All right, scoring. I'm gonna complain a little bit about some of this too. I really do like this game, and I like generally the brave play, but I don't like how coins work. So the way coins work is if you get 100 coins, you get an M coin, and I'm not sure why they did this because there's a set amount of N coins in the world, but you can grind regular coins to get more M coins, and I feel like this is messy. Because what the M coins? So there's one M coin in every level, including the Donkey Kong levels, and there's 3 M coins as discussed earlier in each minigame. Uh, and that thus, and in the special world, so doing some basic math, that's 8 coins per level, plus 1 in the DK, plus 3. That's 9 plus 3 is 12. That's 12 in each attraction times 8 attractions. That's 96. Uh, plus the final boss is 97, and plus all the special world levels is 20, and plus the expert levels. There are 127 M coins in the game if you're going to 100% things. Uh, the special levels are unlocked with M coins, but there's only, and you unlock one every 5 M coins, and it only goes up to 100. So even without every 100 coins giving you an M coin, you can get every single special level. Like really, like it's way too many M coins. There's already
Yeah.
too many M coins, and then they
Before you
decided,
even get
yeah,
to the like all the way through the special, you've already unlocked all the levels if you've been 100%ing the whole time.
yeah, and they add, and like you desperately don't need the coins to give you more M coins because you don't need any more M coins. If I told you that in my normal attraction playthrough, I played through the special modes as soon as I unlocked them, and like I started seeing attractions I didn't know how to use because they came up before I got to them in the normal attractions because
Yeah.
the balancing on that is way off, and the coins just don't help. Uh, and it's
No, but the coins, and I mean, the other reason that you need all the coins is to get the trophy.
And that's why I don't think they needed to give you M coins because there's already a
Yeah,
reason.
the M coins seem pointless. Yeah.
I like the idea. All right, so here's the like so the M coins are collectible. Every level also has a card, a little spinning card, and that includes the Donkey Kong, and that means there's 9 spinning cards in each world, and they all spell out Mini Mario. And getting all 9 cards in each world allows you to play the mini game. And
Yep.
I like what they're going for here because, like, all of the collectibles separately unlock things. The M coins unlock things in the special world, the cards unlock the mini games, and the coins unlock more M coins. And therefore, each of these if you just want one of those things, you can just collect those powers. But if you want the trophy, you have to get everything.
Yep.
On the other hand, I really don't think the coins needed to do anything. The coins already act as like something to make getting the trophy a challenge. They didn't need to
Yeah.
also give you M coins. I like that the cards and the M coins in. I think there should have just been the M coin in the level, and the coin should have been something you needed for the trophy. So you need to get everything to get the trophy. But if you only wanted to see the special levels, and if you only wanted to see the mini games, you could just go for the cards and the M coins. But otherwise,
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that they separated them out because, somebody might not always be able to get everything to get the trophy.
yeah,
So I do like that the trophy doesn't unlock anything.
it does. The
The
trophy
trophy
unlocks.
unlocks something?
Oh yeah, I was getting to that. The
Oh,
trophy.
I didn't think the trophies unlocked anything.
No. I love. I think. See, the thing is, I actually really like the system, except for the coins thing. The coins, I think, work perfectly fine as small extra things you need to get the trophy, rather than something which gets you more M coins. The trophies unlock expert levels.
Oh, okay. So they're just the other currency for the other
Yeah, 10 trophies will
unlocking
unlock
the
an
other
expert
levels.
level. But I quite like how it's done because it's balanced well. Because if we do the same math, there's 9 levels with a trophy in on each world. The main 8 and Donkey Kong. Times 8 is 72, plus the final level, plus the 20 special levels, gives you only 93 trophies. And plus the 10 in expert gives you 103 trophies. So there's only 3 extra trophies, which means if you want to see all the levels, you have to get most of the trophies, but not all of them. And I think that works fine. I think it's really well balanced. Like, if you want to see the final expert level, you have to get a lot of it. You have to beat a lot of the game and get a lot of the trophies, but you don't have to get every trophy to see the final expert level. And I think I like that balance to it. Like, the trophies feel like they're a lot better balanced with the expert levels than the M coins do with their abundance, because the coins give you M coins and you just get a ton of M coins. And I feel like, first off, the coins shouldn't give you more M coins, and they probably should have given you a few more special levels up to 120, so that like the 127 M coins you can get throughout the game uh, feel like
Would
they
make more
have.
sense.
Yeah. But like, you have to play. You can only skip on 2 levels, because one of those trophies is for beating the final level. If you want to see the final level, and I think that
True.
works. I think I like how that's balanced.
All right. Was there anything we didn't touch on?
A ton of little details. I still haven't talked about the level editor, and I wanted to mention a few things about the music and sound effects, and a little bit
Go
about the
for it.
background details. All right, so wrap up on random stuff is, first off, the teacups attraction 3. I think they have like 3D teacups in the background or something. I just thought that looked kind of neat. Uh,
Yes. I know what you're talking about.
uh, the the sound effects. I like the sound effects. They have a certain charm to them. The cutscenes are these like weird the cutscenes have this charming nostalgia to them, but on the other hand, they're these like weird like slideshow cutscenes. That has this thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
this game reminds me. I mean, it's definitely getting a lot of its influence from the original Donkey Kong on Game Boy. Like, it's the same kind of thing. Like, in between each world, you get like a cutscene that kind of explains how Mario is going to get through the next attraction.
and I like those, but also you can't skip them, and they play the exact same cutscene in plus mode, but like with 2 different minifigures instead of just the Mario minifigures. And it's
Yeah,
like, did
that
you
would be kind of
do
annoying.
that? The DK cutscenes, the one that play before each DK level, and I do like them, uh, are are the same in plus mode. So I don't know why they made special plus mode versions of the attraction introductions, but they did. I like the sound effects of Pauline and Donkey Kong, but they got a bit repetitive because it's the same. Oh no! help me scream every
Yeah.
single time. And I
Yep.
found Pauline's voice in this feels like weirdly like sensual. It weirded me out a little bit, especially when you save her in the end. Like the thank you sound effect made me feel a bit weirded out. Uh,
Donkey Kong. How sweet. Bye-bye. Thanks for playing.
You know, that was a fun game.
Yeah. I mean, it's all in the voice acting on that.
yeah. Uh, Bonuses in the options, you can unlock various bonuses. The main thing you unlock is more stuff to do in the level editor, which we'll get to, but you can also unlock a sound test where you can listen to all the sound effects and all the music, as well as a theater where you can see all the attraction. You can rewatch every single attraction cutscene and their plus variants, as well as the opening cutscene and the two ending cutscenes, and all of the DK cutscenes. So you can watch those anytime you want, which is nice.
But you already watched them twice.
Yeah, you don't want to do it at that point, but I always like to congratulate it on special features, which I think are nice, even if they're not used.
Yeah.
I think, and then before we talk, the last thing before we talk about the construction mode is I really like the music on the menu screen. It's like that, ba-dum bum, ba-dum bum, ba-dum, or something
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. Because you can put up a clip so you don't have to listen to me singing. But
Yeah.
sorry, I'm introducing more work for you. Sorry, but I like it because each attraction has like its own spin on the theme, and so you'll go through each of them, and it'll like adaptive audio and switch it with each. Like the music will keep playing, but it'll seamlessly switch to the version for whatever world you're on. And I also like that the expert one, when you go to the secret warehouse, the expert levels, it's just the drum line.
Yeah.
And if you go to plus mode, it raises the tempo. So it's the same versions, but they go faster in each of the plus mode menu. and I just really liked that detail. I mean, I like the detail on the rest of the music, but I really liked that detail, as well as I think there's only one level with like 8 minis, but there's a unique sound effect. So if you notice, when you get a mini in the door, it'll have a sound effect, and every subsequently mini will have like a longer version of the sound effect. And there's a level with 8 minis, and like the sound effect extends like quite a bit. And it's just really satisfying. And like that sound effect, as far as I know, appears once in the game, because I'm pretty sure there's only one level with 8 minis in it. So the final sound effect, because if there's a level with 3 minis in it, it'll only play the first 3 sound effects. But like it goes up and up and up and up to 8, and I like that each of those each mini has like a separate sound effect after it, to all the way up to 8 minis. You can put that in too if you find it. The level is S17, so if you need to find the sound clip for the mini things,
Yeah,
that's where it is. So
I could probably find it somewhere.
yeah, so yeah, it's probably in the sound effects in the sound test.
Probably. I think there's like over 200 sound effects, so it's got to be in there.
Well, I guess I'd have to check. I think it's like 100 or something. I think it's over 150, but I don't think it's over 200. I might be remembering wrong, though. I didn't spend a lot of time in the sound test.
Yeah, I thought there was more than that.
Oh, and some of the sound effects are Pauline's voice.
Yeah, that's true. I was trying to see if I could find it real quick.
I mean,
for the sound effects,
I can always send a video of like the sound effect I mean later.
Yeah, I mean, you could talk about the online, and I'll try to see if I can find it.
I'm not going to talk about the online, because the online, I didn't get to play the online, but I can.
Or the construction mode is what I mean.
Construction mode. There's a tutorial. I went through the tutorial, even though the person who had the cart before me had already done the tutorial, so I didn't have to. It's kind of bare bones. It's like it teaches you how to like place tiles, and then place tiles in a more complicated situation, and then place the red blocks, and then place the red girders in a more complicated situation. And that's it. That's the end of the tutorial. It teaches you those two things in a weirdly large amount of detail, and then nothing else. It's kind of weird. But I think the reason for that is because you unlock, one of the main things to unlock is different elements to be used on as you go. And it's a pretty... There are some limitations, and I'll talk about the limitations because they're noticeable, so it'll probably sound like I'm ragging on it, but I think comparatively, this is a very open editor for the time. Even if there are limitations, this is a pretty this is a substantially open editor compared to a lot of them. So when you enter a level, you can choose to either make it a vertical level, a horizontal level, or like a big square. Which, yeah, those are your options, based on layout. And you can also create 4 types of levels, and it's really weirdly done, because you can either make a normal level, a multi-door level, like described earlier, a key level, and a magnet level. If you're
Oh,
confused,
geez, a magnet level.
what I mean by that, instead of the magnet tiles being like a game element that you could add in the editor, it's like a game mode. So like you have to pick magnet mode to make the magnet levels. And that means you can't make a magnet key level or a magnet level with multiple doors. And I think that's kind of disappointing because those exist in the game. Because like the magnet mode, the magnet attraction has levels with multiple people in it and the key level. But you can't make that because magnet levels is its own option in the editor for some reason of a game type. Also disappointing is you can't do plus mode attraction. You can't make it so it matters the order that you get the minis in. Disappointing, but overall makes sense. Like plus mode is its own edition, and it kind of makes sense that they wouldn't add it in. Just disappointing. Interestingly enough, you can only add. Interestingly enough, I don't know what I was gonna say, but so those are the basic things. Inside each of the, so if you played Mario Maker, you probably understand this, but each of the items in it are subdivided into groups, and pretty much every item in the game you can use, which is really nice. Again, I think it's very despite my gripes about the stupid magnet level thing, uh, this is a pretty open editor. You can use pretty much any element that the regular game uses, and what was it? Oh, they're subdivided into categories, and you have like a certain amount of each categories. Like you know how Mario Maker works,
Yeah.
where like you have like a certain amount of enemies and a certain amount of ground tiles. Well,
That you can place.
in Mario vs. Donkey Kong, you have a certain amount of springs and a certain amount of these pipe. Like, so they're subdivided into different groups, and you have a certain amount of them you can use, and you can, as well as there's like a total. Like there's like a total amount of stuff. So there's this bar that goes down. But even making a pretty full level, I only got the bar down to 88%, or well, not 88%. I'm actually not sure, but like I didn't get close to the full limit. I got close to the spring limit because I made a level made entirely of springs, but I didn't get close to the overall limit. And so again, it appears that you've got a lot of options. It's not it's not the gold standard where you can make absolutely any level in the game in the thing, but it's fairly close. Like it's got a lot. And your reward, if you go through and get like full 100% on every single level and get every single trophy in both normal and plus modes, is you get to place Pauline dolls in normal Mario levels. Which doesn't sound like a very big thing, but it's nice that it unlocks something. I actually wasn't expecting it to do anything
Yeah.
beyond aesthetically adding another star to the profile or something. But no, you get the
That's
Pauline
what they
doll.
do.
Yeah, you get Pauline dolls in the editor, and they don't do anything. But like, it's like almost a bragging rights because then if you put it online and people see your level has a Pauline doll, it's like a bragging right. Like
They know you're like, yeah, they know you did it.
Yeah, so that's actually not. I've seen a lot worse completion rewards, but it kind of and it makes sense.
Look at Breath of the Wild Korok seeds.
I don't know what happens when you get the Korok seeds, but I don't think anything happens. So,
yeah, you can look it up. You'll be disappointed.
I probably won't because I'll just be disappointed. But I think that's a nice reward, especially since after you've beaten everything in the game, what's left to do but fool around in the editor and check it out. And I quite like it. This isn't about the game itself. Do you want to? Oh, I forgot a few things. There's also a map and a help mode. Did you ever use help mode?
I never did use help mode.
I would not have known help mode existed if I didn't read through the manual, which also looks very nice. It's a very nice manual. It's got little pictures. There's like minis running around on it. It's very nice. But I wouldn't know this. So if you press the shoulder buttons, if you press on the right shoulder button, it'll show you a map, which is useful. But if you press on the left shoulder button, it'll show you the what's it called? It'll show you help mode, and then you can tap on any item on the screen, and it will give an explanation of it. And this is just available at all times in any level, except the DK levels. There's no map or help mode in the DK levels.
No, you can't have that. I did find the sound effects and music numbers. So there's 137 music tracks and 235 sound effects.
I see you were right. I concede my point.
In the menu.
Thank you.
137 music tracks is pretty impressive, though.
Yeah.
For
a DS
game with really only like 8 or 10 different levels or worlds.
Yeah. I mean, it probably has every single version of the menu music, which
probably.
But I still think the menu music was a cool thing that happened, so I'm willing to let that slide. This isn't technically just like this is supposed to be an episode about just the game. Is it okay? Do you want to hear about the level I made?
Sure. That's an experience. Right. Let's do it.
Yeah. So the level I made is based off an old childhood favorite, and I don't think I recreated it exactly because the memory's all fuzzy, but the basic premise of it was, how evil can I be with springs? And so the main premise is you have a purple spring, and those are the vertical ones. They bounce you up. And my thing was, it is very hard to do, but technically possible to, like, if you place the springs right up against each other, to bounce from a purple spring, and in the time Mario is in the air, tap away the purple spring and put the next one in.
Oh, geez.
So I made a giant...
a lot of real time.
I made it a giant staircase, but then I realized every level has to have at least 2 mini Marios. And that presents a problem, right? Because you can't do that with 2 mini Marios.
No, your timing wouldn't work.
Yeah, it's a disappointment. And also the zigzag isn't natural. So and the other thing is each level needs to have an M coin and a card, right?
Yep.
And in keeping with spirit with the level design, I wanted, like, you have to do a perfect run and get a trophy before it says complete. And I wanted that to happen. But I also wanted I wanted the M coin and the card to be separately collectible. So you did something different for each, like in the spirit of the game, where like, oh, you can get either the M coin or the card or everything. So like, I wanted to do that in the spirit of the game. And then I got thinking. So Mario starts at the bottom. So I decided I would make the challenge easier. I gave you 2 springs. I'm very generous. And you'd get up to the thing, and then I placed the card just floating out in midair. And what you have to do is you have to bounce off the right, like, because it's a zigzag, right? You go up one way and then to the left, and then I ran out of space, so it's not a zigzag, it's like an arrow sign with the purple springs. And I made so if this is the arrow sign with the purple springs, the M card is out here. And you have to, on the way up, see the M card, and on the way back to the left, choose the right spring to bounce off of to get the M card, and then quickly scroll down and place a spring on the lower part of the sign, so that the Mario doesn't die.
Oh, jeez.
So that sounds
challenge. way complicated.
That's the challenge number 1. The second challenge, the card, the way you get the So that's the card. The way you get the coin is I put Pauline at the top, and she's right next to the entrance. And you can either and like I gave you a conveyor, and I said, okay, you can either make the conveyor from right to left, and you'll get in the entrance, and it'll be really easy, and you'll only have to worry about one bouncing. But if you put it to the right, you get the card, but it puts Pauline at the bottom. And that means you have to, with two strings, juggle the Mario and Pauline on the staircase.
Oh man,
Now this actually,
yeah, that'd be rough.
I also made a branching path where, because to turn around on the purple staircase, I used crumbling rocks, and so I made it so you can only go up the purple staircase once. So how are you supposed to get anything? I made a second staircase that intersects with the purple staircase and goes around it using yellow springs. And so the route that you have to do is you have to go mostly up to the purple staircase. And I decided to make it easier. There's a coin that there's a coin above every spring I want you to use. And so some of the purple springs don't have coins, and that tells you where I want you to jump off. Because you don't have to go on those springs. And then to get it perfect, you have it jump off. Then you activate Pauline, and then you have to get the Pauline and Mario up halfway up to the purple staircase, where instead of turning around, it will fall down onto the yellow alternate path, where they will bounce up the yellow path, and there's coins on the yellow path, so that if you want to get the trophy, you have to use both paths as well.
Oh man,
that is the level. I have video of me completing it, and a lot of video of me not completing it and dying.
you'll have to post that on YouTube or something where you have more room to post.
Yeah, maybe, because I guess I could probably throw it on YouTube. I mean, I'll throw it. I might throw it up on my archive channel where I do my stream archives, because I don't want it on the main channel.
And then just point people to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can watch me and get a better idea of what this monstrosity I created was. But I was quite proud of it, and I was very quite proud of it. I was especially proud that I got the design philosophy in, where you have to do a different thing for both getting the card and the M coin and getting the trophy, and that you could go for any of these levels, and they all provided a separate amount of challenge.
I love it.
Thank you.
So, with all the gameplay wrapped up, I just have a couple of fun facts. Something I noticed right away is if you are playing on your DS and you shut the DS, Mario will talk to you after you shut your DS. He'll ask you to come back, or he has a various amount of things that he can say whenever you do that, and then he says something when you open it back up as well. Like if you're just taking a break for a minute.
I mean,
that was something that was pretty cool.
Yeah, isn't that also a thing in New Super Mario Bros. Where it'll say bye bye when you close.
Yeah, I think it's along the same lines. Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Interestingly, instead of bye bye, in every single there are 3 sound clips, and in every single one of them, Mario is in some way annoyed at you.
Yeah, that you're quitting, which in today, it's always Nintendo's telling you need to take a break most of the time.
Yeah, there's come back here. There's one where he derails into mumbling, and there's one where he says you hit his head when you close the disc.
Yeah.
Hey, you come back here. Oh, your mamma mia, tutto arrabbiato. Ow, my head. What are you doing?
So there's the sound effects, and then also this is the final Mario game for the DS. So This was it. This kind of closed that chapter of the DS for Mario, and you wouldn't see him again until the 3DS comes out. So on handhelds. So there wasn't a whole lot of fun facts, but I just found a couple that we could throw in.
there's an extra fun fact that we found before the show.
Oh yeah, you can go ahead and we can talk a little bit about that.
So both John and I have the red case version of the game because it comes in a red case like a lot of Mario games do. But there is a variant of the game that comes packed in, like there's a pack-in version that comes with the DSi that has a black case, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit and scrambling around trying to figure out why there was a black case version of this game for sale.
Yeah. Turns out
and then we found out it was, it's a pack-in, and then also there. I found an article on Nintendo Life from what was it? It'd be about 11 years now ago, and they said that if at some point, whenever they decreased the price of the DS Lite, they also ran a line of million seller Mario games with the red case. So that's where all the red cases come from.
Which is interesting.
So there is a chance that this game sold with the black case, not as a pack-in, but we did find the pack-in one as well. So
and there's also the chance that it initially sold. It's hard to tell. Not people don't keep good records of exactly how the case variants work, but I find them at least interesting enough that I wanted to mention them.
And that's Mario vs. DK. We had a lot of fun talking about it and a lot of fun playing it. Again, kind of disappointed that we had so many people that were super hyped for playing this game this month and then didn't get as much people that wanted to come on and talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
But
we
had the one that mattered, the one that 100%ed it. So
we mined an hour and 21 minutes out of just talking about this game. And actually, how long is the normal episode of this show?
I usually run anywhere from like an hour to an hour and a half. So we're doing pretty good.
We did it.
But we did. So what I like to do is we'll go ahead and start the outro part of the show, and I'll give you a chance to kind of, if you could think of anything we missed about the game, and then also a chance for you to promote any content that you have coming out anytime soon.
I'm trying to think, but I really don't think that we missed anything in this game.
Nope, I think we got that one covered. So you can go ahead and promote your YouTube channel and your playthroughs and stuff.
Yeah, so let's see. I have a Twitter, by the way. It's Philip Paulson 2. And that's where I announce stuff. So if you miss the next episode that I'm on of Ontopicretro Retro, there's another way to figure out what I'm doing.
It's true.
But the other thing is I run a YouTube channel currently called Flightsy, where I upload recordings of myself playing video games, as well as I stream myself playing video games live. It's kind of weird time because I'm just on the tail end of series. Like, I just finished Kirby's Adventure on extra mode. It only took 8 streams, multiple of which were just me struggling to get perfects on the mini games because I said I want to review this game and I need to play every single part of it. But if you're hearing this, on Wednesday, I stream Wednesdays at 7 p.m. And if you come on Wednesday, there's one more stream left where we listen to everything in the sound test. So you can join in on that. Or more likely, you'll come the Wednesday after that where I start a blind-ish playthrough of Breath of the Wild. I'll be directed.
Yeah, there you go.
A directed playthrough.
That'd be
directed
neat.
by my friend, Galaxy Wolf. They will be helping me.
Awesome. Sounds
Uh,
sounds like a blast.
There's also the archive channel, which will presumably be where the footage of me beating my level goes, and is also where you can watch the rest of the series. The playthrough I'm currently doing is Bowser's Fury. That's the pre-recorded playthrough that's just being uploaded, and the finale should be out next Tuesday. So you can see that. And after that, I think is going to be coming Kirby's Dream Course with my father. So that'll be fun. And sometime in the nebulous future, I will be creating a review channel that I'm going to call Captain's Log, and I will be posting my review of Kirby's Dream Land, the predecessor to Kirby's Adventure. And I've got the entire thing filmed. I just really need to get on the editing process, but I've been promoting this. I promoted this last time I was on a retrologic related show. So like, I'm just gonna keep mentioning that it's in progress. And one of these times,
That's all it takes.
we can see it.
Awesome. Well, at this time, I'd like to just tell everyone that if you're not checking out Flightsy's YouTube channel, to go check that out. It's definitely worth stopping by and subscribing to, and get all the updates for that stuff, and also your streaming efforts, because I know that takes time out of your busy schedule of school and everything, and it's definitely worth paying attention to. Also, I'm sure everyone would like to know that the next show's game topic is going to be Super Bomberman. So I don't know if anybody has experience with that, but I'll be reaching out shortly to find some experts. And that pretty much rounds out the show. Thanks for listening on Topic Retro, part of the RetroLogic family of podcasts. If you'd like to send in your personal experiences for the next show but don't have Discord, you can send them to ontopicretro@gmail.com. If you haven't joined the wonderful non-toxic RetroLogic Discord and would like to, you can visit retrologic.games for details on how to join for free. You can check out all the other podcasts that we do there. We have RetroLogic, which is the main podcast, and then we also have Retro Groove, which is a music-based podcast that will be coming out of hiatus here pretty soon. So you'll be able to check out some new episodes from those guys as well. I also don't want to forget Sam, one of our other co-hosts on RetroLogic, also puts out a very nice blog on the website. Lots of very good reading there if you haven't stopped by yet. But that's it for this episode. So stay tuned for more, and we'll see you guys later. Thanks for coming on, Flightsy, and hopefully we'll have you on again soon for another game.
Thank you for having me, and yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, that's it.
You're good, and we'll see you guys later. Bye now.
Bye.